Good morning. Snowing today. Big time. Got my winter gear, Carhartt, hoodie, shirt. In the garage it is 42 degrees, something like that. Anything you guys want to talk about? I'm here. If not, I'm waiting for this stuff to dry. I got 12 hours on it and it's still tacky. Let me show you. This is the first one. Normally I'd RTV this down before I drilled it. And the sticky stuff for the airplane aviation glue, and it's still tacky. After 12 hours, I tried a heat gun, and that even made it softer. So I guess when I use this stuff, I have to wait 48 hours. That's crazy. With RTV, I can drill usually in about an hour or two with RTV, but it's still setting, so I can't drill the MS660 yet. Thanks for the thumbs up. Fuck yeah. Thank you. Tilt it up. This is the 660. It's ready to drill as soon as the glue dries. And that one's ready. This one, I really like the clutch. The clutch is heavy duty on this rat. This is the G3 from Boy Goes Fast on eBay. And let me show you what I did. Oh, I hate how these things never stand up. Whoever designed the fucking case, why don't you make a case that stands up? Why do they have to make a case that falls over? It drives me fucking crazy. All they would have to do, put a goddamn fucking stand right there. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm holding it on like this with the glue. I'm going to lift it up and then drill. That's where I want it right there. I want to make sure that this will fit on right there. And press it, and that's how I want it to fit. Just like that. So I want to let that dry just like this. And once it's dry and not tacky anymore, I don't know how long that's going to take, because this shit is so fucking tacky. I'm used to RTV, which is dry in like an hour. And let me think of what I can work on while I'm waiting for the glue to dry on all this, on the two rats. Let's work on a case. I have a blank case here. It's full of studs. Hit me up if you got any questions. I'm here, dudes. Just waiting for the race. I got 9 days before I go get to see the races, so that'd be cool. I like that a lot. I want to see all the race vehicles and get to check out Mr. I'm the world champion of the whatever, of the speed race on a bicycle. Supposed to be there, so that'd be cool to see. His bike. But all the other racers are like, ooh, I wish I had that. Easier to put the big one on the bottom first. And this is how I remove the studs. Simple, nothing complicated. Double nut method. Put one nut on this way, one nut on this way. Tighten it down. And make sure you're not on both nuts. It'll be separated. Okay, let's do it. Let's see though. Yeah. Whoever put these studs in really put them in good. Let's see. Check for glue. No glue. Huh. Cool. Or, you know, I could make a China doll. I have this piston, this brand new head that came with the the rat. I was checking out their timing they set, and I don't know what they were thinking. The piston didn't travel all the way down to open up the exhaust port all the way, so I don't know why you would do that. I do like how they cut the gaskets though. That's pretty cool. That's a cut gasket. Somebody did that. As far as the porting goes, it's pretty sloppy. There's a ton of slag on the intakes, ton of slag on the intake, ton of slag on. What I mean by slag is when they cast it, a lot of shit gets left behind, and you're supposed to clean that up. And you could tell that this slag, that's slag to me. That's slag. See how rough it is? That's what the inside of the transfer right there feels like, is that slag right there. And that's bad. If you wanted to work on this, somebody wanted me to build a fast China doll, I could do that. I mean, the races there's more China doll races than there are all the other races. More people care about China doll, whatever. But what would you do with this? What would I do with this? Well, the first thing I do is check out how the ports work. You can use smoke, you can use water. You could put this underwater in a bucket, right? And take your hose. Fill the hose up with water. Put 10 drops of food coloring into your hose. Put it into your jet underwater and blow, and you'll see the flow of the water because it'll be colored. Because you'll have, and what you do is I almost spilled my coffee. Oh, that would have been horrible. What you do is put the water in there and then work it back and forth like this with food coloring. Work it back and forth like food coloring. Put this in a bucket of water. Put this into the jet, hold it, and blow. And you'll see how the flow. A lot of people dog me because they say water isn't the same as a fuel mixture mist. But water, air, everything is going to react the same way when it hits a surface. It's going to bounce or it's going to flow off of that surface. And what this will do is tell you how poor or how good the transfer is. And what you want to see, or what I want to see personally, I want to see the fuel or whatever's flowing through the transfer come out and either hit the other side of the transfer and make it go bam and make it swirl like that. Bam, that's one way. Another way is to port it more than one port. Have one port hit this way, and then some people hit the port that way. And usually one port hits this side, one port hits that side, and then one port hits that side. And then on the other side, you're trying to feed it. You're trying to make a little tornado inside. It would be the best thing, how I would say. And then you could do the same with the intake. And you'd stick that in there, have the color water in the bucket, and blow. And you'll see how the fuel's being delivered, and you'll get to see the turbulence. And what I mean by turbulence is when it hits, it'll curl. You'll see the colors curl wherever there's turbulence. And you don't want that. What you want is a nice flow in a circular motion. A lot of people like to push some up to the top of the cylinder and the rest swirl. But that's how I would test the port. And I've already tested China doll ports, and the flow is just bubbles, everything. It just drops. This port is a drop port, meaning that it Everything's flowing and then dropping to the top. Flow and drop, dribble top. No spin, nothing, no cross on all the chainsaws. Grab a chainsaw head. Here's one right here. If you'll notice that this has an angle cut this way on the ports on both sides of the dual port. And one blasts here and the other one blasts right on top of it. So it's a dual spinning motion. It goes like this. Not much is dropped to the top of the cylinder. Most of it is spinning right here, and then the piston pushes it up as it's spinning. And to me, that's what I'd love to have on a China doll. I'd love to see a spinning flow on a China doll and not just bleh. Well, this port, I call it the throw up port because that's what it does. It just bleh. I mean, it's nice and wide and can handle a ton of fuel on both sides. I mean, you could turn up the fuel, you could blow a ton through here, but it just dumps out the fuel, just throws it up into the here. It doesn't spin. It doesn't do any of that. It's just a throw up transfer. How would you make it spin? Well, I'd have to redesign the whole transfer. How would you do that? A sleeve. Definitely a sleeve. Fill the sleeve it, fill the port, and repair it. And hopefully the sleeve won't move or it won't be so sloppy that you have to pin it. A lot of people that have sleeves are sloppy and the sleeve moves, and that's worse. You want the sleeve to fit so tight that it's not going to move. And if you look through the transfers, a lot of people used to do what's called transfer ports, meaning or they'd adjust this to fit that. I found that it destroys your flow to move that by just notching it right here. It really does. There's a reason why it's this shape. And what I'd like to do, if I did that, I'd want a shelf here. I would build this out and not cut it all the way through. And I'd build a shelf transfer. Why do you want a shelf transfer? Because it's going to build more pressure up into the case. This is all theory of my part, and I know everybody's going to correct me on that, but that's okay. I love corrections and I love learning. What a shelf transfer is going to do is create more suction and more volume or more control here. It's going to build more suction at the 0 atmospheric. It's also going to create more force push up when the piston's coming down. And you're going to have more pressure in your case when it's not open like this. Why do you want more pressure? Because when the piston comes down, the pin, sloppy pin too, real sloppy pin. That pin should fit perfect in there. This pin, if you get an Italian piston like this, and you stick the pin through, you'll notice how perfectly aligned both sides are. That the pin doesn't get stuck like this China doll. That means that one of these is higher or lower than the other side, or the pin's not straight. In either case, that's bad. You want it to be perfectly aligned. This is a $2 piston. This is a $35 piston. That's a Meteor piston. You can compare the difference on the inside. Look how they notched it there. Nothing there. Notch there. Notch there. Nothing there. They built it what they did is they built this up. They're saying my piston's so weak, I need to put extra support on the edges of the skirt to keep this from bending in and making your exhaust port leak on the top dead center. And on a one ring, this has to fit super tight. You wouldn't believe how much tighter this piston fits than all the others. I mean, it is so fucking tight with an Italian made piston. I mean, the piston clearance on an Italian piston is so much greater than a China doll. I mean, if you measure this is supposed to be tapered. This is supposed to be big, and this is supposed to be cone shaped right here. Meaning that when it's all the way open, like this, at the top, this right here, your intake's going to be open, and on the exhaust side, this is what closes your exhaust port right here. And if this flexes, or if this doesn't fit up against the exhaust tight, you're going to get a leak. And what's that going to do? Well, if you get a leak on your exhaust port, you're going to be pushing the fuel or pulling the fuel in. But if you have a leak on it, it's not going to pull as good. It's going to pull like shit. It's not going to suck. And suck on this side. It's not going to suck very good because we're losing pressure on the exhaust side. And you never want to lose pressure on the exhaust side because that kills everything. It kills your suction and everything. But yeah, gas bike talk, pistons, cases, basic stuff. I love how it has a serial number that somebody typed in, like they really sold 50 million. Who are they fucking kidding? But yeah. That's my talk for today. 20 minutes waiting for the glue to dry, rambling on about testing transfers with food coloring and sticking it in a water or sticking it in a 5-gallon bucket underwater. And you can also use this. Everybody's telling me, well, you have to do a volumetric test on it. You have to use compression. This will make, you can make a volume tester by just putting a little bit of liquid in between there, attaching that, and then making an up and down. What I use hose for in my other job is I use what's called a Roman water level. Well, a Roman water level can also be used to adjust a vacuum pull. And you take the line like this, and you put it like this with some food coloring in it. Attach this to your vacuum, and one side would be regular, and without the vacuum, both sides will be exactly the same. When you start the vacuum, this will pull up the water. This is how a vacuum tester works, is you test how much higher the loop of water is pulling compared to it being level. So vacuum test. Well, what do I use water levels for? Is I go to the door and set 2 water lines on it to get my level, Roman water level, one of the oldest levels ever invented. Thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.